one of the things about that is that it means there's a lot of excitement about children's books, and that's fantastic, and there's some huge headline figures. But one of the things it doesn't reflect is that children's books, although apparently ephemeral, you read them when you're young, you may not read them again because you've grown up and you've gone beyond them. That is only one way of looking at them. What we all know is that actually the books you read in childhood are probably the least ephemeral reading you ever do. They fuel you for the rest of your life. They give you images, they give you words, they give you places, they give you so much that you take with you. But also, they are the books that get passed down. They are the long-lasting books. We in children's books live with these things which are here today and absolutely not, in the traditional publishing pattern, gone tomorrow.
One of the things that Frank wanted to say was that although it was extraordinarily difficult for us to whittle the long list down to a short list, finding the long list itself was not that difficult because these books were extraordinary. They had in them spirit and adventure and landscape and invention that Frank says, this is very much Frank talking, set them apart from the prevailing atmosphere of carefully calibrated, airless melancholy. I agree with him that they are extraordinary, extraordinary books, and it was an honour to be allowed to read them, and it was also a joy to be forced to read more books than I would usually allow myself time for. Is a book about a squirrel who gets a superpower after an encounter with a vacuum cleaner. It's bonkers and engaging and totally extraordinary, and as Frank says, full of squirrelness. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart is tight and precise and a time bomb of a book. It's so precise, in fact, that it's almost impossible to talk about, you all know this, without giving away the entire plot. So we can only say that it's dark and intense and intriguing, and that everyone should read it so that everyone can discuss it without resorting to like hand gestures and Phoenix by S.F. Said is a truly gorgeous book. A lot of the sci-fi that we got in the submissions was good, but this was in a league of its own for the completeness and extraordinary heart of the world that it imagines. As Frank says, it's a giant story told in a headlong rush. And great storytelling in that book go hand in hand with real emotional and moral complexity. And the illustrations by Dave McKean are beautiful. This is a book that you should not get on your Kindle, that you should hold in your hand and keep by your bed. The Dark Wild by Piers Torday is a really great idea, brilliantly executed. We all agree that it's a world that's wildly inventive, and at the same time it's oddly believable. Perhaps because you could see how that world might grow out of our world. But like Phoenix, it had at the heart of all that wild invention a character that you could care about with your entire heart. And it really is an extraordinary book.
Yesterday, the Education Secretary said in an interview, people shouldn't study art subjects at school because it will hold you back in your life. Well, if this is what being held back in your life feels like, then bring it on. Julia talked about the speed in publishing, and in a way, there's another thing going on. There's almost a sort of collective in our culture and our politics at the moment, there's almost a slur on the value of the humanities. And I feel very, very strongly that, you know, when you write for children, you're not just writing for children, you're writing for the adults of tomorrow. They will make the decisions that inform and shape our society. And I can tell you that reading a wide range of stories and studying them does not hold you back in your life, it changes your life.